Here we are again, another week, another Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in to this brand new podcast of Round 2 Wrestling. I am SlimmDa KID here with you on the 30th of August, 2022. Summer is behind us and fall is just around the corner. This is the last podcast of August, and then we will jump right over to September, and that brings a whole lot of excitement. A AEW pay-per-view will take place this particular weekend, and then we have a plethora of pay-per-views to look at the end of the year. Here on Round 2 Wrestling, if you have never tuned into my podcast, is sort of like a newscast, but everything is going to be about the world of professional wrestling. Rumors, news, results, and a brand new fan favorite, Did You Know? Did You Know are little bits of information and facts about the wrestling world that you may or may not have known about. So let's kick things off here on Round 2 Wrestling by taking a listen to the rumor mill. Fightful Select says WWE's plans for a WWE draft are not immediate and may be held off until after WrestleMania 39 next year. On the Wrestling with Freddie podcast, Freddie Prinze Jr., former WWE/F writer, discussed rumors about CM Punk and AEW and his attitude behind the curtain, disrespect for fellow wrestlers, and Adam Page in particular. This beef between Page and Punk is quote-unquote real. F4W's Brian Alvarez says vast majority of AEW locker room came out of the all hands on deck meeting feeling better about things within the company. Thunder Rosa, a stiff worker according to Dave Meltzer. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter legitimately don't like the AEW Women's Champion or working with her. PW Insider reports Brock Lesnar, Pat McAfee, and The Undertaker were also guests for Vince McMahon's 77th birthday last week. There are pictures circulating around on the internet of Vince McMahon following his 77th birthday or going to his 77th birthday party. I'm not really sure what the picture depicts, but it does show him with another woman, not Linda McMahon, looking sort of disheveled, but if you're not on TV, you don't have to look your best all the time anymore. John Cena was also a special guest at Vince McMahon's 77th birthday. Via Fan Belt Dan, head of WWE creative Triple H, to make numerous belt design changes in the upcoming future. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer reported AEW is serious about a women's show, but is unclear if it'll come to fruition. Alright, not a lot of rumors to think about over the next week, but what we did have is plenty juicy and should give you something to think about, just like I got done saying. Enough with the what ifs and who ifs and what maybes. Let's jump over to something a bit more factual. This is pro wrestling news. Amazon teams up with WWE and files a lawsuit against 13 defendants who attempted to market and sell inauthentic replicas of WWE title belts through the Amazon marketplace. PW Insider reports Patrick Clark, a.k.a. Velveteen Dream, was arrested Friday and charged in Orlando, Florida, for drug paraphernalia possession. He was also arrested 6 days prior on first-degree battery and trespassing misdemeanors. When it rains, it pours, and apparently, if you are a member of WWE or were a member of WWE, you commit crimes very quickly. This is the second former WWE employee this year to be caught or apprehended or whatever you want to say, committing some sort of crime. If you remember earlier in the year, Miss Sunny Sitch was being investigated for a manslaughter charge involving a vehicle accident earlier this year. Now we can add Velveteen Dream to that list. So if you are a member of WWE, for God's sakes, behave, because if you don't, things come in pairs, apparently. DDP announced on his YouTube channel former WCW wrestler Buff Bagwell has relapsed and has entered rehab for treatment. Buff Bagwell has battled demons since his tenure in WCW/WWF came to an end back in the early 2000s. He has had off and on battles with drugs and alcohol, and it seems like a lapse back into drug use is the reason for him re-entering himself into rehab for treatment. We here at Round 2 Wrestling hope Buff Bagwell a speedy recovery and hope that he is able to get clean and maintain being clean for the foreseeable future. Vince Russo, former writer for WWF and WCW, claims he has been a consultant to the USA Network for WWE Raw since 2020. WWE has since denied these rumors. AEW's upcoming pay-per-view, All Out, to air in movie theaters across North America, courtesy of Joe Hand's Promotions. Theaters included in this particular promotion are Cinemark, AMC, Imagine Entertainment, Marcus Theaters, and others. AEW wrestler Eddie Kingston suspended for an undisclosed amount of time. Suspension is after a backstage altercation with fellow AEW wrestler Sammy Guevara. The Kingston-Guevara match that was pitched for the All Out pay-per-view has been canceled. This is sort of a sad thing to report. Eddie Kingston has turned into one of my favorite wrestlers on AEW. I was very, very unsure of him when he first burst upon the scene, but his mic skills and his hard-fought, never-die fighting style has won me over. So this was a bit of a surprise to hear that his character sort of bled over into real life and that this altercation between him and Guevara happened. At the time of this broadcast, no news on whether Guevara was going to be suspended or punished in any way. So far, it sounds like it's just Eddie Kingston. Enough news to talk about here on Round 2 Wrestling. We had a pay-per-view take place within the last week. NWA 74, a 2-day wrestling event, took place over the weekend, and several other titles were on the line across many different promotions, including, but not limited to, WWE, Ring of Honor, and AEW. We here at Round 2 Wrestling are proud to give you these results, and here we go. Raquel Rodriguez and Aliyah defeated Dakota Kai and Io Sky in the finals of the WWE Women's Tag Team Tournament to win the vacant WWE Women's Tag Team titles. NXT Tag Team Gallus defeated NXT UK Tag Champions Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen by countout. Noam Dar defeated Mark Coffey to win the NXT UK Heritage Cup Championship. AEW interim champion Jon Moxley defeated AEW World Champion CM Punk in a title unification match last Wednesday on AEW Dynamite. TNT champion Wardlow defeated Ryan Nemeth to retain the TNT title. Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli defeated Dustin Rhodes to retain the Ring of Honor World Championship on Rampage last Friday. Regina D-Wave champion Hikaru Shida defeated Amy Sakura to retain the Regina D-Wave Women's Championship. Impact Women's Tag Team Champions Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green defeated Jordynne Grace and Mia Yim to retain the Impact Women's Tag Team titles. NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion Homicide defeated Kerry Morton to retain the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship. Scion defeated NWA National Heavyweight Champion Jax Dane to win the NWA National Heavyweight Championship. La Rebellion defeated Hawks Aerie to win the vacant NWA World Tag Team Championship. NWA Women's Champion Camille defeated Taya Valkyrie to retain the NWA Women's Championship. The Fixers won the vacated NWA US Tag Team titles, winning the NWA Tag Team Battle Royal. Davey Richards defeated Thrillbilly Silas to retain the MLW Openweight Championship. NWA National Heavyweight Champion Scion defeated Anthony Mayweather to retain the NWA National Heavyweight title. NWA Women's Tag Team Champions Pretty Empowered defeated the Hex to retain the NWA Women's Tag Team titles. NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion Homicide defeated Ricky Morton to retain the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship. NWA Women's Champion Camille defeated Max the Impaler to retain the NWA Women's Championship. NWA World Heavyweight Champion Trevor Murdoch defeated Tyrus to retain the NWA World Heavyweight Championship at NWA 74. Lots of titles on the line this past week and lots more on the line this week. We have a pay-per-view coming up this weekend for AEW called All Out. Be sure to tune into your local provider, Bleacher Report, or Fight TV and order that pay-per-view to watch the results of these title matches for yourself, again, live this Sunday. All right, to close out Round 2 Wrestling, we will jump right into Did You Know? Did You Know are little bits of information and facts about the wrestling world that you may or may not have known about. Did you know Nature Boy Ric Flair's first match for the WWF happened April 26, 1976 at Madison Square Garden in New York City, New York? Did you know TNA had a mascot briefly in 2007? It was a kangaroo named Stomper. Did you know AEW's Kenny Omega has fought in the MMA and has a 6-2 record? One of his losses is to Hall of Fame UFC fighter and fellow Michigander Dan Severn. Did you know Shawn Michaels worked briefly as a high school sports reporter in San Antonio, Texas after he left the WWF in 1999? Did you know former WWF wrestler One Man Gang wrestled in ECW in 1998-1999 and was a member of FBI Full-Blooded Italians? Did you know WCW commissioned new tag team belts 2 weeks before being sold to the WWF? The tag titles were never used. Did you know, as of this broadcast, there have been 17 odd-numbered Royal Rumble winners and 17 even-numbered Royal Rumble winners? Did you know Vern Gagne holds the record for oldest champion for a promotion, winning the world title in AWA at the ripe old age of 55 years old? The second oldest person to win a world title for a promotion is Vince McMahon at 54. All right, that is the conclusion of Round 2 Wrestling. I am SlimmDa KID, and I personally want to thank you for tuning in to our broadcast. I also want to thank UCW in Saginaw, Michigan. Ultimate Championship Wrestling has given me an in back into the squared circle and has gotten me into the referee shirt once again. If you are in the Saginaw or Bay Area, be sure to check out one of our live shows once a month at the UCW Arena. Also, stop by our Facebook page, Bay Slammer. Once again, I am SlimmDa KID, and I want to thank you for tuning into this episode of Round 2 Wrestling. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday as I bring you more rumors, more news, and more results from the world of professional wrestling. Round 2 Wrestling is brought to you by SlimmDa KID and Spreaker.com.